Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Ramsey personality George Campbell, joined today by the infamous Dr. John Deloney. Some call it the Dream Team, some call it America's Nightmare, and you get to choose today.
I don't think anyone's ever called us the Dream Team.
No, that was just me. That was aspirational.
I appreciate your aspirations.
Well, we are here for you, America. Give us a call, 888-825-5225. John Deloney, he can answer almost every question, but he's really great at the ones concerning mental health, relationships, boundaries, marriage, you name it. And I'll jump in on the money questions and nerd out with you. So if you're trying to get out of debt, you've got some anxiety, you're going through a hard time like I am right now, John. Very emotional to start off the show.
But we're a dream team, so I'll pick up when you go through hard times. That's what we're going to do.
That's a great teammate. Well, John is kicking us off in Knoxville, Tennessee. John, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for everything you guys do.
Sure. How can we help today?
So I'm looking for some advice, opinions on hopefully purchasing our first home in 6 to 8 months.
Cool.
And I can give some context on that.
Please do.
All right, so I'm on baby step 3B, so we have zero debt. We just had our second daughter 1 week ago.
Congrats.
So, that was a big thing. I appreciate it. And we have officially outgrew our 800-square-foot home. It's actually in my dad's name. We've been living here for a while, and we're needing a bigger home for sure now.
Are you paying him rent?
No, we pay all the land taxes for the 13 acres, so that's the majority of what we do.
Awesome.
One important piece of information is my wife and I, have our daughters or our oldest daughter currently in private school, and we're not a fan of public and homeschool, so that has a big play to do with this new home that we're wanting to get into.
In what way? Financially?
We live pretty far away from any kind of private school. About 50 minutes we're driving one way now. So Our first option that we have is my dad actually gifted us 5 acres of land. It's in our name. So we would have to build, though, and that would require $60,000 to $80,000 in land prep. So, of course, that takes away from the amount of home that we can build. And, of course, we're very far away from the school, almost an hour one way. So that's one option.
That's on the 5 acres? You're an hour away?
Yeah, correct. And that's currently where we're at now. It's just the next mountain over where we would build. And then our second option we're thinking about is moving to the city, renting for a little bit, and then buying a house if we like the area, probably in the Knoxville area. We would be close to the school, but then we'd be very far away from both my parents and my wife's parents. And our oldest daughter is completely against moving, so that part to do with it too.
How old is she?
Only 8 years old.
Okay.
So there's a reason why we, as a society, have all pitched in and we've all said, hey, you know what? Let's don't let 8-year-olds buy beer or guns or drive because they're 8, right? So just for whatever it's worth, she gets 0 votes. None. No votes at all.
Gotcha.
You could move her to the moon, and if you're good parents, she's gonna be fine. So she doesn't get a vote.
Yeah.
I'll jump back in there. Let me back out a little bit. Let me tell you this. I've learned this the hard way with 2 kids. I moved out to the woods, and it was good for our family. And from moving downtown Nashville into the woods with 2 kids, it's been awesome. And my wife spends an incredible amount of time in the car, and it definitely takes away from so many other things that we had dreamed of doing. Simply getting to and from different places. And so I would much rather see you build a life worth living and then go to your parents on the weekends versus here's what you're trying to do. You're trying to keep your life exactly the same, and you just added another kid, and you'll have this value, which is we'd rather drive 2 hours a day than send our kids to public school and be invested in the public school system and help it grow and morph and change. We want to spend 2 hours in the day in the car. Like, you see what I'm saying? You're creating all these variables for yourself, and then you're frustrated that your life isn't smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, it does.
based on everything you just told me, I'm going with your second option, which is we're going to move into the city. We're going to buy a house there when we're ready to do it. Maybe that means we rent for a year or two while we save up. How much money do you have saved right now for 3B?
We currently have $15,000 for our emergency fund. We have about $10,000 towards the house, but in 6 to 8 months, we should have about $30,000 to put down.
So what I'm hearing is every 6 months you can save up another $20,000.
Yeah, we have $3,000 minimum month going towards a down payment.
Okay, so that means $40 a year, which means in 2 years you could have $80 on top of your 10, which puts it at $90. And now we're looking at a healthier down payment because I'm guessing to live in the city is going to be more expensive.
Yeah, but we're currently not paying rent right now, so that will play an effect with how quickly we can spend if we move to the city, for sure.
Great.
The other thing would be just gritting your teeth for another 18, 24 months in the 800-square-foot house.
Yeah.
You just said
that's definitely an option. It's rough, but it's an option.
Yeah. Your 8-year-old say, "Oh yeah, you don't get you get so few votes, you get to sleep in a tent in the backyard for the next 2 years." Don't do that for everybody. Hey, let me ask you, what do you pay in private school tuition?
It's $400 a month.
Okay. And that's worth it to your family?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Well, I think you have your answer. If you want to stick it out there for a while, do that until you can't stand it any longer, and then we're moving to the city and probably renting for another year because we need a lot more money saved up, because I want you to do this the right way, the smart way, and not with impulse. And that means a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage with 10 to 20% down if you're able to, and have that payment be no more than a quarter of your take-home pay. So that gives you your timeline and parameters pretty easily. You don't really have to wonder at that point.
Okay, cool.
So start
Thank
looking
you.
around and see what you can get in that area, and I'm sure there's some great spots you can rent, and it's going to be a lot more than you're paying now, because right now you're paying pennies. So that's going to be a part of your budget.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, man. Thanks so much for the call. Good luck with the move and the changes.
George, I see this a lot where people just want to have all of it. And
You want the cake and you want to eat it.
And they don't want it to be uncomfortable, right? And I made this mistake. I've talked about this from stage. Whenever my wife said she was pregnant, I thought to myself, okay, cool, 9 to 10 months-ish, and then I'll get my wife back, right? And I didn't even know what that meant. I just thought then we'll be able to go back to our
life will go to normal.
Our crazy life we had when we were single. We'll just have another human, and they'll be fine. And then after a few months after my son was born, I was like, it's probably going to be a little bit longer, probably another 12 months, and then we can go back to the way things were. And there's no going back, right? And so now they've crossed a new line, which is, we have a second kid, and that would mean if we're going to choose to continue to do private school, that's 2 tuitions and 50 minutes in the car here, and all of a sudden this life we had imagined is very different, and so you
more
have
complex.
to reconstruct your house every time you have a major change in it.
Amen. And I lived in a 900-square-foot house growing up. I feel like this dates me here, John, but we survived.
Everybody lives.
You sit on one couch. It's fine. You don't need that much space.
Well, you're not a huge guy.
That's true. Thanks for reminding America. It's your show, America. 888-825-5225.
Look, I love real estate, and I want you to have a house, but I don't want a house to have you. That's why you need to get in touch with Churchill Mortgage to make sure you do this right. These guys are awesome. They'll help you get on a smarter mortgage plan because they're committed to doing what's right for you. That means they check in every year with free consultations to help you stay on the right plan. They show you how to save money and interest so you can build wealth faster. They walk you through the total cost of your loan so you can make the best choice. Basically, they care. That's why we call them Ramsey Trusted. You can achieve debt-free home ownership, and Churchill is here to help. Go to their site, churchillmortgage.com/Ramsey, to start your approval or get more information.
Well, it's no secret we love talking money around here, but we know not everybody feels that way. And that's why Rachel Cruz and myself started thinking about what it would be like to talk money for those of you who'd rather just have fun. So last week, we launched a brand new Ramsey Network podcast called Smart Money Happy Hour, where Rachel and we dig into the stuff you and your friends would talk about at your weekly happy hour. Things like pop culture, what's going on in the world, and how you can afford the life you love. It's fun, casual, entertaining money advice that will make you feel less stressed and more in control of your money. Plus, we have a really good time. Some call it hilarious. That's a review from John Deloney on Apple Podcasts. Thank you for that one, John.
You and Rachel Cruz are the original dream team.
Wow, I was called Regis Philbin, and I took that as a compliment.
I would take that all the way to the compliment
Regis and
bank.
Kathy Lee. So, and we promise, while it's entertaining, you actually will walk away learning something. There's some good takeaways in there. So if this sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and subscribe to Smart Money Happy Hour wherever you listen to podcasts. That way you'll get notified every single Thursday when we release a new episode. We've got 2 out already. It charted at number one.
Number one, man.
All
Congratulations.
weekend. Thank you. On the business charts, it's number one on Spotify and the business charts as well as Apple. And we charted at number 19 overall out of all the podcasts in the world, which is amazing. So thank you all for sharing, subscribing, leaving your feedback, leaving reviews, 5 stars, all of it. We super appreciate it. The team has done an incredible job with this one. All right, open phones this hour, 888-825-5225. Brian is up next in Bowling Green. Brian, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Not much. How are you? What can we help with today?
Well, I'm kind of in a crossroads right now. Right now, I'm about $48,837 in student loan debt. I'm in the middle of trying to become a doctor, MD, and I'm trying to get a good MCAT score and get in. As I'm in between jobs, I'm just trying to find something that I can do, and I have a couple of offers: a car salesman position, a retail position over at Sam's, or maybe try and find something in a hospital. I'm not sure who's going to be getting to me first, but what do you guys suggest?
Well, on first blush, the hospital one seems like it would give you some valuable experience since that's where you're wanting to go.
Yes, it's just that they're taking forever to get back to me, and I'm not even, and I'm looking at the pay, and hopefully, I'm not sure how long this interim of stalled payments is going to last out. I'm not sure if they're going to extend it again, depending on what happens in November and whatnot.
They're not going to. And here's what's concerning. And so I spent the last few years before I came to Ramsey Solutions researching the mental health of attorneys and lawyers. I'm attorneys and doctors and a couple other groups. The doctors who are successful, you can't keep them out of the medical service profession. And I'm already concerned about why you would want to go to med school and also be considering a job selling used cars. Is this just it's a dollars and cents thing? I can just make way more money doing this right now. Because if you're already like, well, I don't know if it's worth it right now, or they're taking forever, dude, medical school is going to eat your lunch. Why do you want to be a doctor?
To be able to help people and do work that truly matters. To be able to take someone who's suffering and be able to help them out in a reasonable and impact their life greatly.
So how can anybody in the world keep you out of a hospital right now? Sweeping floors, doing whatever it takes.
Yeah. I mean, just not much, sir. I've been fighting for this for, coming on a decade now, and I'm still plugging. I'm still fighting. I'm just trying to find some way to keep the lights on right now.
There you go. Okay, that's what I need to know. That's cool. And the other side of any sort of long-term dream like this, right, is I'll do anything it takes in the interim to make this thing happen. So I honor that too, man. That's good for you. I just want to make sure you know what you're biting off. But it sounds like this has been your dream for a long, long time.
Oh, trust me, I did quantitative analysis in organic chemistry. Trust me, I know what I'm getting into.
You've paid your debt. Hey, if you can get through OCHEM, man, you can get through much. So I'll turn over to George with the dollars and cents part of this. Go ahead and buckle up for education institutions, medical institutions, they move glacially. Just got to settle in, man.
It's like the DMV.
It's like the DMV if the DMV wanted to slow things down a bit.
Ouch.
Right?
Are there other hospitals in your area that you've checked out?
Yes, I've gone through the major ones that are in the area, and I am today I'm going to start applying to the smaller clinics, like just literally anything.
I would focus my energy on small clinics. I keep hearing anecdotally about the shortages on everything from cleaners to people running gurneys to people running the morgue area. I mean, people just shortages everywhere. And so, I would get my applications out all over the place.
And in the meantime, if you want to go work at a wholesale club to make $20 an hour so that you can start stacking up some cash,
heck yeah,
that's great. And then you can move on. If you get a full-time role at a hospital doing what you want to do, that's great too.
Yeah, I mean, dreams are nice, but the rent's going the first.
Yes, yeah. You can't pay your light bill with dragon's tears. You got to actually go make real money. And
I love that you're willing to do whatever it takes right now and willing to be scrappy about it.
Yeah.
That tells me you're off to a good start.
Don't take the delay as something personal. It's the nature of that beast right now. And so go just keep grinding and grinding. Someone's going to be lucky to have you.
Thanks for the call, Brian. Appreciate it. Kelsey's up next in Baton Rouge. Kelsey, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you.
Absolutely.
I wanted to get your advice. My husband and I are trying to make a difficult decision. We're on our debt-free journey, and we've got 2 daughters that are young but exceptionally talented at gymnastics, and we're trying to decide if we should sell our home to become debt-free and to be able to continue to support their gymnastics, or should we stay in our home and maybe pull them out so that we can really kickstart our baby step journey.
Wow. Why is selling the house your first option?
We have a lot of equity in our home, and I guess sometimes we just feel like we'd be pretty happy in a more modest home.
That's a reason to sell it, not so that we can be able to ship our kids all over the country.
Yeah.
If I am really hesitant for you to use your kids as an excuse to make any sort of decision. You all need to make what's the best decision for your family and your living needs and your financial situation, and then the kids come on the back end of that.
Sure.
They can't carry the weight of their parents' hopes and dreams.
We sold the house for you to do gymnastics, and now you don't want to do gymnastics anymore?
Now you just want to smoke cigarettes? And they can't carry that weight. You know what I mean? They can't.
We wouldn't want to do that. I will say we originally had planned on selling our home so we could quickly become debt-free and have that peace. Since my husband's our sole provider, we're ready to get there. But then we recently had the thought that we could just take them out of gymnastics and make it work to stay in this house, which is where I guess.
How much is gymnastics costing you?
Gymnastics for both of them, total is $870 a month.
Wow. Gosh. And that doesn't include travel, does it?
It doesn't, but the majority of our meets are local, and I'm pretty sure we have the option to decline any travel at this stage since they're so young.
So what would something in your gut says put taking them out on the table? What is it?
It is a lot of money, and if we took them out, I guess crunching the numbers, either way, we end up hopefully with a paid-for house at 40 years old, completely debt-free, but one option is they're still in gymnastics, but we're in a more modest home, whereas the other option is staying in this home, taking them out, and then we have a much nicer home that's paid for.
I would look at cutting all other expenses, increasing income, taking on side jobs, and staying in the home. And selling the home to me is a last-ditch option, unless you guys just hate this house and want to move anyways. But that's a huge step to take just to keep affording gymnastics.
Yeah, I would not do this because of gymnastics. If you're able to afford it because you've done this, fine. I always want parents to ask themselves, are we keeping our kids in after-school sports and elite travel stuff to fulfill our dreams? Or for our kids, because most kids just want time with their parents.
Life is full of firsts. longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
I'm George Camel, host of The Fine Print and co-host of the Smart Money Happy Hour podcast. Hosting today with my friend Dr. John Deloney, host of the Dr. John Deloney Show. You can check out all of those shows on the Ramsey Network and wherever you listen to podcasts. Open phones this hour, 888-825-5225. Let's talk about your life, your money, boundaries, relationships, mental health issues. We are here to serve you, America. Mike joins us up next in Columbus, Ohio. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, sir.
I've been saving to purchase a home, and have been looking for the last year or so. Hasn't been much of opportunity on the market. I'm currently renting. And I've built up a fairly large liquid cash position as I've been saving up, and I'm worried about the impact of inflation on that particular savings.
Sure. How much do you have?
Currently in liquid, $105,000.
Awesome. And where is that currently saved?
It's currently in a bank savings account.
Making probably 0.001%?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do better than that. Now,
Mike, you sound disappointed in Mike.
Now, have you heard about like a high yield savings account online?
Yes and no. For the most part, I've been just parking money and haven't really been thinking about it much.
Okay. We love a savings account for that kind of short-term savings. I don't want you investing this money, but there are better options for savings accounts, and one is that online high-yield savings account. I've got one right now. I'm getting 2.6%, which is incredible compared to what it's been the last few years. So interest rates have been climbing on those savings accounts, which is great. So you can do a lot better on that money if you moved it over.
Interestingly enough, is that 2.6% compounded, or is that annual?
That would be annual, but it would get compounded because you get 2.6% every year. And so as you earn that 2.6, you're going to earn 2.6 on that amount now. And so it's a great deal to keep your cash liquid. Yes, you could invest it in the market, but as we've seen, my 401k is down like 25%. So I'd be real upset if I was in the stock market.
I'm not even looking
right
at
now.
mine.
John just doesn't look. Probably for the best. So, Mike, that's what I would do if I was in your shoes. You're on to a great start. I mean, is that enough money to get you a down payment right now for the house you're looking at?
Yep, it is. And at about 20% for the range that I'm looking at, which is pretty good.
What's your hang up? There's something not sitting in your soul, right? What is it?
Immediacy of action, because I'm looking to purchase a house right now. I've been renting for a little bit. I'm going to month to month.
Okay.
Because I had a house that was lined up with a good offer, and it kind of fell through.
Okay.
You working with a good agent?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
I have a tendency, Mike, to get frustrated with a situation and go do something to shake the snow globe, and I make a mess. So the hardest part for you is to not let this $100,000 burn a hole in your pocket, and your frustration with renting make a foolish long-term decision. Whether that's to go dump all of this money into an index fund and lose 10% of it over the next year because the market is still fluctuating and you need the cash, or to go buy a house that you really don't like but you're just sick of all it. Man, you need to just be patient. Even if you have a friend and you say, hey, your job is to ask me these questions before I go do something stupid. Right? You're not going to earn 20%. You're not going to earn back inflation. You're not going to earn back 8.3 or 8.6, whatever it is. You're not going to earn that back in a liquid account. You're just not. So you got to make peace with inflation is what it is, but I am interested in holding on to this cash right now. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Can I ask you one other question really quick?
Sure.
How would you differentiate this from an emergency savings account, and how would you handle the two differently?
I mean, I would keep them in different accounts so that I don't go into the cookie jar and then go, oh, that was my emergency fund. But I keep the majority of my emergency fund in a high yield online savings account. And so that's where I would tell you to put that home savings as well. Now they're different,
Right.
so I would leave them in separate accounts. You can create multiple accounts with those banks. But I'm looking at the numbers now. You could be making $2,700 a year right now if it was in a high yield savings instead of close to zero.
Mm-hmm.
That comes out to a little over $200 a month. But let me tell you, Mike, the secret sauce is not the interest rate. It's Mike. You putting money away, living on less than you make, that is the secret sauce to beating inflation, not a savings rate. And you've done that. You've done it, man. I mean, how many people look up and go, I got $100,000 in the bank, and I'm ready to buy a house, and I'm ready to do it the smart way. So now you've done the work. You said $100,000 was enough to get this house, right? So now it's the game of patience, like John's talking about, going, well, I want to buy the right house, and not just because I'm sick of renting. Because it's the biggest purchase you've ever made in your life, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to walk with a lot of caution, a lot of wisdom, work with a great real estate agent, and desperation leads to bad financial decisions. And when you can do it with patience and you're not in a rush, that's when you can actually get the best deal because you're not feeling impulsive to just get it now and not negotiate and take your time and walk away if it's not a great deal.
All right.
So you've done great, man. The one move I'd make is just switching it over to high yield savings account. And at least for now, you'll feel better making that $200 a month. So thanks for the question. It's a good one.
And George, you and I have talked about this offline, just when we're hanging out in the green room somewhere, talking about how we actually live these principles out in our own lives. And I have my emergency fund in the same place with my checking account. Yeah. I may earn a high five every year, right, annually. For me, it's not worth. I need to pull up this bank, and I don't keep apps on my phone. So it's just a personal decision. I think the main thing is, do you know where it is, and can you get to it in the case of an emergency? Is it liquid? Yeah.
Yeah, and we always say an emergency fund is insurance, not an investment.
There you go.
And a lot of people look at 10, 20, 30 grand, and they're going, well, John, that's unsophisticated. You should you could invest that money. That's the wise thing to do. It's not an investment. It's meant to protect you.
Yes, it's sleep insurance.
There you go.
I can go on a vacation, and something goes wrong, that's fine.
You got the money.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a good word. All right, Dave joins us up next in Erie, Pennsylvania. Dave, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for taking my call today.
Sure. How can we help?
Well, I'm 58 and a half, everyday millionaire, debt free. I'm going to continue to work. When I'm 59 and a half and can utilize my 401k, is it okay to use it at that time to purchase a new vehicle and let that ride for a while and build back up, and then purchase my wife a new vehicle and use that as a vehicle fund?
Will you still be working at that point?
That's correct. Yeah, I'm still going to continue to work. I'm still going to continue to contribute to it, and I thought that might be just as simple as saving up and using that fund for that.
And you're completely debt free.
Yes, sir.
Home and everything.
Yep, everything. I owe nothing. Worth about 1.25.
Way to go.
And we cash flow everything, and just. That's a lot of money to build up. You know what a new vehicle costs. I thought, geez, if I can hang on with some old 2006 vehicles for another year, I can utilize that fund. But taking the current financial state of the country and everything, I just wondered if that was okay to do.
So I want to ask a question to George. Dave, on your question sparked a question with me, and so both of you answer this. Why wouldn't Dave and or George, I guess, just stop making payments to the 401 and go ahead and just save up cash? It's going to take you a few months, but why would you end up owing yourself?
I could do that, and I just wonder, what is it? 6-1, half does the other? What would be the difference? I don't know.
I guess my question is, why wouldn't you just save up and cash flow it with your income? I mean, you've done so great. You've stayed out of debt. You're doing all the stuff the right way. I just wouldn't want to rob my retirement, to start my retirement off as soon as you can pull the money out and rob the growth that's happening in that account. How much is in that account?
One fund has right around $1 million, and another one has about $250,000.
I mean, doing the math on what the compound growth of that account is today, and taking 40 grand out of that to buy a car, it would just hurt me emotionally.
Yeah.
And so I would go, I'm going to cash flow it, and I'm probably going to make a different decision if I'm cash flowing it versus taking out of my retirement. And so I would just tread with caution there. There's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think you need to. And so I would just save up with your future income, with savings, and do it that way versus robbing the retirement on day one. That's one man's take. But congrats, man. You've done a great job. Super happy for you. This is The Ramsey Show. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why they're the #1 online retailer of custom window covering. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
All right, today's question comes from Marge in Florida. That's right, I said that right. Marge in Florida, that's right. All right, I've been going through various church videos on the YouTubes to try to connect to a good church in hopes of having a pastor inspire me to continue listening to his sermons. Oh boy. I thought I found one and was considering giving a donation. But when I went to the giving page on the website, there was a box I've not seen on other churches' sites. The option to give with stock or crypto. It surprised me because it's a new way to raise finances, but I'm not sure if there are tax implications. Have you heard of this happening, and what's your take on this?
Wow. This is honestly a first for me, John. I'm Googling it, and there are many articles talking about how this is becoming a trend with churches offering this as an option.
Why would the church accept a failing pseudocurrency?
Well, that's the big question, John. That's where my heart's at.
You can give us cash, check, or just a bucket of gravel. We'll take that too.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, my immediate take on this is a hard no.
Yeah.
Especially with this online church. It's not a church she actually attends locally.
Yeah, so let me you can answer the stock and crypto part. Let me answer this. I don't believe in treating a church like a taco stand where you just go sample it until, like, when you ask yourself, does this church entertain me? What can this church do for me? Then you're entering into the conversation about church wrong. I would ask, what can I bring to this particular group of people? How can we be with one another to help us get through the mess that is life? And not, is this person entertaining? Does this person inspire me today? There could be the greatest message in the world, and if I've got the rockets, my guts aren't feeling good or something, I gotta go to the bath. Like, I'm not gonna be inspired. So it's a faulty metric by which to judge a church. Find a place that you want to get invested in and just decide, I'm gonna be a part of this community. And of course, if there's something that just violates your core values, then of course you can transition out. But it's just treating it's like treating churches like Netflix. Like, I'm just going to scan through and find stuff. That's just not how you do church.
Yeah. The point there is a huge part of it is community, for sure. Now, on the actual stock and crypto side, I'm reading one of these articles, and it's saying longtime member Tim said he and other members were involved in Bitcoin, realized there were considerable tax benefits to donating some of it, which, that's exactly why we tell people to give to the church, for the tax benefits. That's the heart that we want. And so the good news is you don't have to give in stock and crypto. You can give if you truly trust the leadership team. I'm huge on transparency with church finances. If I don't know where the money's going, just like a nonprofit, I want to do my due diligence to make sure the money's being used wisely. And so I love when churches are very transparent about here's where the money's going, here's what we're spending our money on. And my problem with doing crypto is, if you give in Dogecoin and then Dogecoin tanks the next day because Elon sent a tweet out, well, now the kids can't go on the mission trip.
That's right.
So this is a terrible stewarding of the money that the church is being given. So I don't agree with it just on a foundational level of churches accepting this. It's cool that they're trying to like meet you where you're at and be like, hey man, you like Bitcoin? You can come. We're cool. We're the cool church. But no, I have not heard of this. My take on it is no, and just all around no is the final answer.
And I wouldn't.
No, don't do it. I don't think my church accepts Bitcoin, and that is why I continue to go there. So you do you, live your truth, but I will not be donating in Bitcoin because I want to actually see the church do great things. And I have not seen many people do great things through Dogecoin and fake meme coins, which they're going bankrupt and crashing and fraud and scams everywhere. It's like the whole thing is coming crashing down, John.
I wonder if I'll be able to donate the curtains that I buy for my Meta home.
In the metaverse.
If I could donate used items in the metaverse to like a not real virtual fantasy church.
That gives me an idea for an HGTV show where they renovate fake homes in the metaverse.
Oh my goodness, this is incredible. And then it could really be one of those moments where they have like the young couple and they're like 24 and like, this is Dan, 24, this is Susan. He dreams about websites and she mows lawns, and their
budget 1.5 million Dogecoin.
1.8 million. And they're going to spend most of it in yes.
This makes me happy. Well, hey, it's an interesting question, Marge, and I appreciate you letting me know about it. All right, let's go back to reality. And Eric is actually with us on a real phone line in Ohio. All right, it's Lima. There we go, Lima, Ohio. Wonderful. Eric, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Had a couple. Well, sorry. Let me start over. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I had a question about a hospital bill.
All right.
My 8-month-old went into the ER. My wife stayed beside my daughter the entire time. I asked for an itemized statement because the discharge paperwork, it said that they ran tests, but they never ran tests. On the itemized statement, I'm getting charged roughly about $700 for tests that were never performed.
Is there a chance? Are these what tests were they?
COVID tests, or like RSV tests, and like other tests.
So sometimes
trying to figure out.
Well, sometimes tests they might draw one vial of blood and run 5 different spins off that one vial, or they might do a quick lung listen and call that a test. You're going to have a hard time fighting that because they get to classify what they consider a test. You and I might consider a COVID test, shoving that thing up your nose so far it comes out your feet and all that. They might consider a COVID test. We did a quick lung listen, and we didn't hear any complications there, so we're going to count that as a COVID test and move on. And they're going to charge you $750 for that COVID test or whatever it was. I think you're going to be hard-pressed to push back on those tests. You can try. You can call the hospital administrator and ask for confirmation, but I think it's going to be hard-pressed.
So have you gotten any proof that they did conduct these tests? What was the read after you got the itemized bill and you called them back?
We called them back, and they pretty much completely dodged the subject, changed the subject. They started talking about financial aid and how I can get financial aid to help cover the bill. They just completely changed the subject when I mentioned about them.
You might need to be the squeaky wheel.
And go in person. They've got a whole protocol for the phones. I'd go in person and sit down with an administrator. And because they're going to treat you as though you can't pay. And so you see what I'm saying? Like
they're trying to offload you to these financial
They think
aid
you have
areas.
A question behind your question. Your question is not, hey, you're stealing from me. You're charging me for tests you didn't perform. They think you're trying to say, hey, I can't pay this bill. And you're trying to take things off of the bill. And so it sounds like you could pay the $700, but this is more about principle.
It's more of a moral / principle, yes.
Okay.
I would almost rather go into collections for the bill versus pay for a service I was never received.
I have done that, and I ended up paying a bill out of collections, just so you know. I made my point, and then about a year later, my wife's like, are you done yet? And I was like, no, they didn't do it. And it was a hospital too. And she's like, okay, you let me know when you're done, and then I'm going to pay this bill.
I've also played that game, John.
It's just going to keep coming.
I'm just like you, Eric. I was so angry. I was like, well, I was there for 20 minutes. How is this a $500 bill and I have insurance? This is insane. And so I called. I was like, I want to speak to your supervisor. I turned into a male Karen. It was full blown. It was a nasty situation. And at the end of the day, they could not and would not help me. And so at that point, you just got to go, all right, I'm going to learn my lesson here. And next time I'm going to have to sign off on every single thing they do, and I will be sitting there watching them.
That's the big thing. Is this sometimes is a $700 lesson learned for how I'm going to handle things next time.
But fight the good fight, Eric. I would be that squeaky wheel until you can fight no more.
Do it in person.
But yeah, do it in person. Keep calling. Leave voicemails. Email administrators and supervisors and vice presidents until you get this thing dealt with, man. Fight the good fight on behalf of a broken healthcare system everywhere. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to all the folks in the booth keeping the show afloat, to my co-host, Dr. John Deloney, and to all of you out there listening. We appreciate you. We'll be back with you before you know it. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Camel, joined by Dr. John Deloney today, and we are excited, pumped even, to take your calls about life, money, relationships, marriage, boundaries, mental health, anxiety, you name it, we are here for you. The
Dream
number to
team.
call, that's right. Thank you, John, for that. Poorly timed, but, we're working on it. This is a team effort.
That's what my wife tells me. I'm the worst with timing.
It's all right. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, man.
I don't know if this is therapy for you or you're going to actually help people today, but either way, it's going to be a good show. 888-825-5225 is the number to call, and we will get you on the lines. Alex joins us up next in Los Angeles. Alex, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. How's it going?
How are you? We're doing great.
I'm doing well. Yeah, I just started listening not too long ago, but I heard a lot of folks with similar issues to mine, and so I thought I'd give it a call and get scolded by Dave.
Welcome to the club. We will be his proxy today.
We have taken our share of scolding, so we're happy to pass them along. What's up?
Right on. So, recently I've always kind of been in control of my money and life and everything, but recently I guess, I got married a couple years ago, and the wife and I, we bit off maybe more than we can chew. We did buy a home for $590K. It's worth, about $8 now. I used a VA loan, so zero down. I rent 2 of the rooms out pretty much for the last 2 years, so house hacking, I believe it's called. So it has made me money. I've only paid about half the mortgage. I tried to sell the house in June. I was on the market for like 3-4 months. I was going to make about $250,000 in profit, and unfortunately it didn't sell. The market, did what it did during that time. And I also have a sports car. It's pretty expensive. I did refinance it once, and I have $18,000 in credit card debt. I paid $2,000 last month. I expected it would go down. It was $16 last month. I thought it would go down to $14, and now I look at it and it's $18, and I paid $2,000 last month. So
well, the credit card interest is insane. What's the interest on that card?
They're like 24% or something like that.
That'll climb real quick. And what's left on what's on your car loan?
The car loan has $25K left.
What other debt do you have?
3%. What's that?
What other debt do you have?
I have the house, the car, and the credit cards. That's it.
Okay. So we'll leave the house alone for now. We are focused on our steps. Baby step 1, $1,000 starter emergency fund. Baby step 2, all consumer debt except for the house, using the debt snowball. Have you heard about those baby steps?
Yes, I'm somewhat familiar with them just from like the last month or so I've been listening.
Is that your one car, the sports car?
We also have like an EV that we leased. Is very cheap, like $230 a month.
Wait, so you have a lease as well?
Yes, sorry, that we do have the lease. That's my wife's car.
So that's more debt. How much is that?
That one is it's $230 a month, about $100 for insurance, and like $40 to charge it. So relatively cheap.
Okay. Well, we call leases fleeces because it is the most expensive way to operate a motor vehicle. Mm-hmm. So whatever the early buyout amount on that is, I want you to do your homework and figure that out. And we're going to throw that into the debt snowball if you want to keep it.
It's a $27,000, I believe, is the residual value, and I could actually sell it for about $34,000 right now. So
that's what I would do.
Just flipping it,
and I'd probably also get out of the sports car. What's the sports car worth?
The sports car is worth about $55,000. I bought it for $60,000 like a year ago. And even with the mileage, it still held its value because of the market, but also because it's kind of rare. And I believe that they've only sold about 2,400 of them since 2017 in the U.S. So I do believe that it's going to retain its value pretty well over time as they're going to stop making them here soon.
Okay,
so
Alex,
these are not investments, man.
Yeah. I'm going to hop in here and then, sorry, George.
I'm doing some beautiful mind math trying to help our friend Alex out.
Listen, Alex, here's what you've got to decide. You live in a fantasy world where money exists and it kind of doesn't. I was going to make $250,000, just didn't happen to be there, and this car is going to probably hold its value, but you can live in that world. And it's going to be chaotic, and you're going to stumble through. You're going to be married and having roommates in your house with some sort of house hacking scam, whatever. Here's the deal. Mm-hmm. You can play that game, brother. The game that we play over here is I sleep really deeply at night. And when I laugh from my guts because I don't owe anybody a freaking thing. Nobody. And I drive not a cool car that's not holding its value because I seriously don't care. So you see what I'm saying? So we're playing different games. If you want to play the game you're playing, we're not the right gang for you, dude. If you want to have your life back, we're all in. See what I'm saying?
Gotcha. I'm listening. Yeah.
Okay. This is like it's a radical way to live, man. And what happens is you create a halo around you. Your buddies are going to want to know, dude, why are you laughing all the time? Why are you able to pick up the check? Why'd you tip double the cost to that waitress? And you just can smile and say, because I can. Right? It's a totally different way of living, man.
Now, when you called in, you said, I want to be scolded like Dave would scold, which tells me that you don't feel like you've made wise decisions.
In this last month, really, since I started listening to the show and getting really serious, I'm looking at my credit card debt and I'm like, hey, this is not good. I've never had this much. I'm having trouble paying it down. I want to build wealth. I don't want to lose wealth. So that was kind of the plan with selling the house.
How much do you make?
Money. I know it's not. I make about 140 with my income and the rental income and stuff.
Okay. I'm going to walk you through this plan real quick. If I was in your shoes today and I was fired up and I was sick of not feeling like I was making enough progress with my money, because you called in, you said, hey, I feel like I'm in control of my money. Brother, you're not in control when you owe 7 lenders money when you put your head on that pillow every night. So here's what I'm doing, and it's radical, but we're a radical group over here. So here's what I'm going to do. We are selling the sports car. You said you could sell it for $55,000. You owe $25,000. That's $30,000 in your pocket. Mm-hmm. You said you could sell the other car. That's not the least. $34,000, and you owe $27,000. That's $7,000 profit. You tracking?
Yep.
You now have $37,000 in your bank account. With that, we're going to pay off the $18,000 in credit card debt. That leaves us with $19,000, right?
Yep.
But we have no car. So we're going to go buy a reasonable car, and the rest is going to go into our emergency fund. Do you have savings right now?
Not really.
Okay. Well, now you will. Yeah. And now you become your own bank because you don't need to turn to credit cards in case of emergency. And you're driving a reasonable car, and while it's depreciating in value, you're not paying interest on it. And you don't need a credit card. We're cutting it up. We're going to switch to a debit card and use our own money so that we make different decisions. But do you feel the freedom there? You could get out of this stuff tomorrow. Yes. But the question is, are you actually sick and tired of living the way you've been living? Of trying to play the game over here, move this card around to the 0%, and now we're sitting here paying 24% interest on these cards and still feeling like we're winning.
Yeah.
So are you going to commit to this?
Not sustainable.
Are you in?
Yeah, I definitely think it's. I mean, I've been seriously considering selling the car even before.
We're not considering anymore today. You're talking to your wife going, hey, honey, hope you like these cars because they're gone tomorrow.
Hey, stay on the line, brother.
Yeah, I think.
Listen, stay on the line. We're going to give you, Ramsey, we're going to get Financial Peace University and the Every Dollar app. I want you guys have to watch the videos, though. I'm not going to give this and just have it sit in your inbox. You got to get it, watch these videos. and change your life.
If you don't watch it, you're going to Venmo me and John $20 each. All right? That's the deal. You got to have some skin in the game here. John's in. Hey, thanks for the call, brother. Can't wait for you to call back and tell us you're debt-free. This is The Ramsey Show.
I say it all the time. If you're a business owner and you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. And when markets are shifting, it's even more important. You've got to know where you stand so you make your next move the right move. And you don't have to be in the dark here. Over 31,000 businesses, including my team at Ramsey, know their numbers because they use Netsuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. Netsuite gives you visibility and control of your financials, planning, budgeting, and inventory so you can manage risk, get reliable forecasts, and improve margins. Having everything in one place has saved my team hours each week since we made the switch to NetSuite. NetSuite is a game changer. So head on over to netsuite.com/Ramsey to get a product tour today. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Dr. John Deloney, and we are taking your calls. 888-825-5225. Matt joins us up next in Sioux City. Matt, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, guys. How are you both doing today?
We're doing great. How can we help?
Hey, real quick, just intro. I am 27. My wife's 27. We have a 1 year and 2 months old little girl. And my question for the day is I just feel really Dave-ish as of today. I don't know why it hit me so hard today. But like my baby steps are kind of all over the place. I've got $15,000 left in my student loans. I went to pharmacy school, graduated a couple years ago, been putting $5,000 towards it ever since I graduated each month. But we have the $15,000 in a savings account. And we kind of did that baby step, obviously backwards, where we saved 3 to 6 months, and that's just been a comfortable thing to do. We said first we're going to do it when we were having our daughter, but we've kind of kept with that. Another thing, too, is like with our way that we do checking our savings or just seeing how we do our payments, we kind of do it retrospective instead of actually doing like how you guys have the every dollar apps. Like, we know what's going out, but after a month has happened, we're not really, fine tuning and figuring out each day kind of what we've been spending and how we can improve on that, I guess. So I was just looking for some inspiration. If you guys had some, I heard the last call, there was a little bit of not like he wanted to get yelled at, and I kind of don't know if I'm at that stage too.
Actually,
I don't know
can I tell you what it sounds like?
Yeah.
You sound exhausted.
Yeah, a little bit. Today was a little bit of an exhausting day, which kind of got to this point, I feel like.
How much student loan? Most of the pharmacy students I know graduate with a lot of debt. How much did you graduate with?
80 to 85.
Okay, that's actually not bad. That's about a quarter of what it usually is.
Yeah.
You sound tired, man. And
yeah, I am.
I want to free you. If you don't want to follow this plan, you still be a good guy, still be a good dad, still be a good husband. Go about your life, man. If you want to do this, go all in, because you're torturing yourself in the middle.
Yeah.
Millions and millions.
I think that's hard because
it's not. Hold on, it's not. It's not. It's not hard. You just got to make a choice. You could be debt free today. Is that what you're saying? You'd wipe yourself out, but you could be debt free today.
Yeah, I could.
Yeah. Why? What is the security blanket?
Yeah, that I can't explain. Well, the way I explained it the first time was we had a kid coming, and I remember hearing a few times from just listening to you guys, that was one where it was okay to save. We have some older vehicles, but they're working great. I love them. I got a 04 Grand Am that I've drove since high school, and that thing's still amazing. Got a 03 Ford Taurus. I don't know. They're running great. So that's kind of something where if we need to upgrade another kid, potentially my wife and I are trying to have another kid. I don't know. I guess the unknown. And I know that it's going to be paid off. Like I said, I've been doing $5,000 each month.
Just be done,
so
man.
3 months from now.
Just be done.
I know.
Just be done.
Yeah.
You are choosing to hang on to a variable. And as a scientist, the goal is to reduce the variables. Get it out of the picture. And then be really uncomfortable. Yeah. What's your take-home salary household-wise?
So my wife and I, this is the other problem too, so I'm just being straight up with you guys. We get about $100,000 after we get retirement out of there. So we're taking out retirement too at this time too.
Oh, you're investing.
Yeah, correct.
Well, you can continue doing that if you pay off the debt today. Yeah. And also, you need to get your emergency fund back in order, so you probably need to pause for a few months. But one of the reasons you're exhausted is because you're running 14 different directions and wondering why you're not getting anywhere.
And then you hate yourself every time you take another step. You're like, I shouldn't have taken that step. I'll run over here, and then I hate that guy.
We can't sit here and inspire you to greatness and motivate you. What we can do is help you build a habit and build discipline to where you're just the kind of guy who budgets and pays cash for things and who has a vision for his future, and that vision doesn't include paying a lender every month. So that's what we can help you do is create a vision and help you get those values in place versus inspiring you with an amazing sentence like you've never heard it before where you go, all right, I'm all in, man. We can't do that in 7 minutes.
No.
But we can pull the rubber band back and cause you to feel that pain that you're in.
What's been inspiring about – go ahead, George. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
What's been inspiring?
I was just going to say what's been inspiring is like listening to George, hearing you paying off your house. That's like been one that's stuck with me for a long time. And that's what I'm excited to do. I want to get this debt done. And next up to that is
there's a vision.
Hold on. You don't want to. You want to.
No, I want to.
You don't.
I want to.
Because if you did, you'd be debt free. You'd be debt free already.
Yeah.
Something is keeping you from doing it. So make the choice, man.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Yeah, you're right.
Most people don't realize that they are already in the ring. They think they can avoid the fight that is being an adult. And what happens is you are just saying, I don't want to fight, and the world just starts throwing punches at you. At some point, you either tap out, which is fine, I quit, cool, or you have to swing back. And you're trying to pretend like you're not in a fight, and you are. You could be debt-free today. The wants you have, the inspiration that George inspired me, dude, by the way. So I get that. I get where your heart's at. You just got to choose.
Yeah.
Now, one of the best things we did is to decide that our plan wasn't working. And that's a really hard pill to swallow because you got to swallow your pride and go, dang it, I thought I could outsmart the system. And so when we decided to do this plan, we just decided, we pre-decided that we were going to go all in on this plan, that Dave-ish wasn't going to get us to where we wanted to go fast enough. And when you go all in and your wife is on the plan too, which means we got to get to the root of maybe that security gland that was going, hey, we really need an emergency fund before we start paying off this debt. And we really should be investing because that's a wise thing to do. Those things are all great. But the problem is when you do them all at once, you don't feel the progress. And so the great news is you can make a different decision today.
Right now.
Yep.
And it's scary, you're right. But you have to choose. Do you want to be comfortable? Because that's what you mentioned. Well, just more comfortable to have the emergency fund while we owe a lender $15,000. Comfort to me is freedom. And the way you do that is by not owing anyone anything. And you have a great income. We can pause investing. You're going to get the emergency fund way faster in place if we stop the investing and stop messing around, which is going to create a real sense of security. Because right now you have a false sense of it.
And you're 27, and for whatever it's worth, George and I always say, sometimes the best advice we can give you is, this is what we did in our house. There's been several times in my adult life, my wife and I have paused investing to meet a financial goal for a short period of time, a couple years here, 6 months here. And so I'm just telling you what I do in my own house to get ahead. And you're way younger than me, man.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that was enough, though, what you guys said, too. Sometimes you just got to need to hear from people that have done it. And I know you guys have done it. I've listened enough to you guys, but, it's something that I don't know what it is. It's maybe something for you, John, to talk about more further if you guys want to. But Davishness, just regarding even money and stuff, too, like my faith, I'm sometimes Davish. I just feel like maybe I'm hard on myself for being Davish in many aspects of life, but that shouldn't stop me from actually doing what I need to do,
Well, at some point, if you start to see some recurring patterns in your life that are disruptive, do the boldest, bravest thing you can do and go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I've done that. When the color in the world starts to turn down on me, and I reach out and I either have a group of friends, a group of men in my life that I trust. I'm like, dude, I'm starting to slide. And they'll say, hey, well, come over. We're grabbing dinner. We're going out tonight to hang out. Or I'll go see a therapist, man. I've got a coach that I work with once a week. Like, I have to surround myself with other people that say, hey, it feels like the color's draining out of your life. It's not. Look how bright that is. There's beauty over here. There's joy over here. And by the way, go work out. Go exercise. Get this crap paid off. And so it's both and, right? But go call somebody, man.
You know what to do, Matt. Now the decision is yours. Are you going to do it? Or do you want to continue living the way you've been living? Either way, we're cheering you on. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. The number to call is 888-825-5225. I'm George Campbell, joined by Dr. John Deloney today, and we're taking your calls. Brian joins us up next in Atlanta, Georgia. Brian, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. I really appreciate you taking my call. And by the way, you guys are doing a really great job. I'm enjoying listening to you.
Thanks, Brian. We're the dream team.
That's right.
Yeah.
Never forget.
I don't disagree with that.
So what's up, man?
So my wife and I are not necessarily having a disagreement. We're in fortunately a good situation where we're selling our house, and historically we've been really good on tithing for standard income. Where we're having a disagreement is I think we ought to use the money that we're making off the home that we're netting and tithe that money like we would if it was normal income. And she disagrees with me. She's looking at this as just money we could put away, and I'm like, well, we will, but I'm looking at it as normal income that we should tithe. And our agreement is, well, whatever you guys say is pretty much what we'll do because we've always listened to you and you've helped us out to this point.
So anytime a husband tells me we're not really having a disagreement, y'all are in really she's holding a knife, you've got a stick of wood.
Listen, I'm married up. I've got the best wife in the world. She's awesome.
All right.
So. Yeah.
Is she there, Brian?
Yeah, she is. I got you on my cell phone, and she's right next to me.
Wow. Well, do we want to hear from her? Do we want to hear her side of the coin here? It may help.
You want to talk? No, she doesn't want to talk.
Okay. That's fine, too. Now,
yeah.
I don't know that, the finer you look into the fine print of this, the less it feels generous if we're splitting hairs over it. So yeah. I don't think there's a biblical mandate on the sales of homes and profits on that. So let's get into the numbers here. How much did you buy the home for, and how much are you selling for?
Well, we're netting about a little over $400,000. So we sold it for $650. We owed $200 on it. So after commissions and everything, I'm estimating a little bit over $400,000 we'll walk away with.
What did you guys pay for it?
What'd you buy it? Yeah.
$265.
Okay. And you're selling it for how much?
$650.
Way to go. First of all, when did you buy this house?
About 15 years ago.
Well done. And is this after all expenses? Realtor
Yes.
fees, you name it, you're going to be netting how much? Somewhere north of 400?
Exactly.
Okay. Way to go. So you are in the boat of you don't think this needs to be tithed on, and she's like, I think we should?
No, opposite.
Opposite.
You think you should write a $40,000 check to your church. She thinks you should take that money and put it in the account.
What are you guys doing next?
We are moving into an apartment that a mixed-use community that we love to be in. It's like it has retail, restaurants. So we're gonna live there for a year or two and enjoy living in an apartment and an area that we know that we enjoy, while we try to find our forever home, for lack of a better term.
Brian, what's it like being married to a woman when you're so much of a better Christian than she is? I'm just playing.
He's trying to get her to talk.
I'm playing, man. I'm absolutely. I'm messing with you both. Yeah,
I mean, you can parse scriptures and go to Deuteronomy, 14:22 says, fully tithe all the increase of your grain that the field produces year by year. So we would say, all right, if you want to do it off of the actual net profit after all expenses. Yep. And if you want to consider this income because you have an extra $400,000 that you didn't before and you want to tithe on that, I think you guys are going to be fine either way. Will it hurt?
Yeah.
Maybe, but maybe that's good for you to realize, this wasn't my money to begin with.
It's never been easy because I'm in sales and I make just 100% commission, and I've done very, very well thanks to you guys and the Lord. But so when we're writing a check, a lot of times it is $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, and it's never been easy because you can find a lot of things to do with that money, but we historically have been disciplined. We've done it, and for some reason, she's looking at this as maybe the exception.
For me, it comes down to one thing, and that is, who do you and your wife, as a couple, who do y'all believe actually owns the money?
Yeah, not us.
And if that's the sentiment, then this idea that then you're just stewarding something that's not yours, that's a different proposition than I'm giving $30,000 of my dollars to a thing, right? Mm-hmm. It's just a difference in how you're going to hold your hands, how tightly you're going to hold your hands. I don't believe, like scripture. I don't believe there's I don't know. Maybe I get struck by lightning here. I don't believe there's a right or wrong here. I think it's what
this is not a salvation issue.
You and your church have agreed to, what is in your heart, and are you going to violate your own conscience on this deal?
Yeah.
I don't think you're getting to the pearly gates and the angels are like, hey, pay up, dude.
You host
40
us
grand,
on
bro.
40 grand.
Where's my money? But I do think there's amazing power while you're here on earth of what that will do for your spirit as a reminder. So I'm not saying she's right and you're wrong. I think you need to come to an agreement on it's a heart issue and what feels good for you guys and what are you not going to lose sleep over. And if you were going to roll all this into equity and buy a new home, I go, okay, I mean, this is going towards the next thing. This is not just freed up money that's going to be sitting out there. But if you're going to go live in an apartment and this is just truly increase and you want to tithe on that or she wants to tithe on that, I think it's the wise thing to do.
And I think if you looked across the board here, if you lined up me and George and Dave and Ken Coleman and Rachel Cruz and Christina, probably all of us would do a version of something a little bit different. Or maybe a few would do it this way. And so I just don't want to get hung up on the legalism of it. And I particularly don't want there to be a rift in my marriage over it.
Yeah.
Being unified in it. And if in the end of the day, your wife says, I think that what we're doing is wrong. I think this money is for us to build our home and fill in the blank. And you can find peace in that. Man, high five you. And if she says, you know what, if you're that convicted, if you're $40,000 convicted, this is the right thing to do, I'm going to go with you on this. Great, man. Great. You sound like you are going to lose more sleep by not giving than she will
by
giving.
It'll gnaw at me.
Yeah. That to me would be the driver. The times in my life when I haven't listened to that inner growling, it's almost always been a mistake.
Yeah. Well, she wants me to ask y'all one more question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
So we both drive very old Kias. We've never been big on vehicles. We were planning on buying 2 new vehicles, not with the sale of the house money, but I'm having a very good year in sales and paying cash, one for her and one for me. But it's going to be probably, if you add everything up, about $160,000 for the 2 vehicles.
Whoa.
Y'all aren't screwing
where
around.
do you draw the line?
This is no joke, dude.
From Kia to Tesla.
Where do you draw the line on, the amount that you pay for cars versus the income you make?
Well, we say we don't want you to have more than 50% of your income tied up in things with motors in them. And also, we don't want you buying brand new cars unless you're net worth millionaires. It sounds like you guys are net worth millionaires.
We are.
Okay. So I'm not mad at that. What's your household income?
After this year, probably 1.5.
God, go buy your cars, dude.
And we're fighting over 40
Brian,
grand?
get off the phone. Brian, get off the phone. Go buy her a $40,000 watch. And, I mean, good grief. Yes, you're good. Go buy.
You will make 40 grand this month.
Let me be honest with you, Brian. So this is hard for me, and Dave actually walked me through this. Personally, off air, I get that benefit by sitting next to him. At some point, when you have grown up without a lot, and it's those people who have that kind of money and those people who drive those cars, sometimes these purchases, you have to look at them as the ratios. Because you can spend $160,000 on cars, and that's the equivalent of me spending $500 on cars when you look at my overall net worth. And if you've given away $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, if you are that generous spirit and this rests well with your conscience, because it clearly works well financially, dude, buy your cars.
If you make $1.5 million and you spend 150 grand on cars, that's 10%. That's like someone who makes 40 grand spending $4 grand on a car.
$4,000.
We would say that's very reasonable.
Yeah.
So you guys have done really well. Now knowing that, I don't know why we were chomping at the bit over a 40 grand check of
Next
tithe.
time you ask a financial question, lead with, I'm going to make $1.5 million this year. Let's start
Helpful
there.
information, Brian, but way to go. You guys have great hearts, and the Lord has blessed you, man. Love to hear that. This is The Ramsey Show. So a few days ago, we were in lovely Phoenix, Arizona for 2 completely sold-out events on our Building Wealth Tour. And the energy in the room both nights was absolutely incredible. So if you've been thinking about joining us, stop thinking. Do it. Don't miss your chance. The events in Sacramento and San Antonio are completely sold out already. We have a few seats left for Building Wealth Minneapolis on November 10th. So if you want tickets to see us in Minneapolis, you got to buy them now, because for sure this one's going to sell out too. Prices go up this Friday for the Minneapolis event, so get the early bird discount before it's too late. It's going to be Dave Ramsey, Rachel Cruz, Dr. John Deloney, Ken Coleman, and myself. We'll be talking about building wealth in this current economy and show you how you can get on the path to building real, lasting wealth. So we already did Phoenix. Sacramento's on November 1st. That's sold out. Minneapolis, November 10th. A few tickets left there. San Antonio to end it out on November 15th. That one's sold out. Tickets start at just $25, or you can get a 4-pack starting at $60, which is $15 a pop. That's an amazing deal. Go to RamseySolutions.com/events to reserve your seats now. Looking forward to getting back on the road with you, John.
Dude,
always
Phoenix
a good time.
was a blast.
We ate some good tacos, too, didn't
Dude,
we?
crushed some tacos.
It was a lot of queso
baby.
before the
Torchies.
event. Why so much queso before the event? That was a bold move on your part.
Hey, dude, if you can put me on Torchies queso,
good things happen.
Can do some damage.
I love it. Let's go to the phones. The number to call is 888-825-5225. Charlie joins us in Dallas, Texas. Charlie, welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
I am about $135,000 in debt. $85,000 of it is about student loans, and then I got 2 cars. My wife makes about $2,000 a month, and I make anywhere from $38,000 to $6,000 a month. And I do not know how to get us out of debt.
Well, I'm glad you called us, man. Are you a new listener? How long have you been listening to the show?
On and off for a few years, but religiously for the last 3 weeks.
So what made you call us today versus 3 years ago?
I am tired of not being able to sleep.
There you go.
It's a good place to be, and it's a bad place to be.
Yeah.
But it's good because you're ready to get out, aren't you? And you're willing to do whatever it takes now.
Yes.
And you guys are bringing home anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 a month total?
Yes.
Okay. That's good news. Now, these car loans, what are the cars worth?
One of them is worth $5,000 and I owe $8,000, and the other one's worth probably $12,000 and I owe, I think, $18,000 on it.
So you're underwater on both of these things?
Yes.
Okay. Well, how much money do you have saved in the bank?
0.
How little can you live on out of that $6,000 to $8,000 a month? What are your actual expenses?
I've looked it up, and I believe it's about $5,000.
You have $5,000 in expenses?
Yes.
Do you guys own a home?
Hold on. In what?
We pay $1,500 a month in our rent, and then one car's $500, the other car's $280. Our utilities are about $250 a month. Cell phone, we pay almost $400 a month.
$400 for cell phones?
For 4 of us, yes.
Wow. You guys are getting ripped off, man.
Big time.
That's T-Mobile for you.
No,
that's way too much.
That is not T-Mobile's fault. That's you. They can charge whatever they want to charge. You signed up for it, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're A1. I'm going to get you on an every dollar budget, and I'm going to gift you the premium version for a year if you're willing to do it.
Thank you.
But here's what that means. You are going to track every transaction like a madman. And before you make any decision, you're going to ask yourself, does this help me become debt-free and find the freedom that I've desperately been looking for?
Okay.
And when you do that, here's what you're going to do. You're going to go, why are we paying $400? We got to find a better deal. We're switching cell phone companies today.
Who are the 4 people in your family?
My 2 kids, my wife, and I.
How old are the kids?
16 and 13.
They can participate. They can get jobs and help out with a $100 a month cell phone bill. Good God Almighty! All right.
I'm going to also gift you Financial Peace University. Is your wife on board with this, or is it just you?
Yes, she is.
She's fully on board.
She is. Yes.
Okay. We need to find out where all of this $8,000 is going, because you're telling me even if your expenses are $5,000, you have an extra $3,000 to throw at the debt.
Yes.
Can you work overtime? Where's the variable pay come in?
I'm an independent contractor. I usually work 10 hours a day, 10 to 12, about 6 days a week.
And what is your wife doing for work?
She works for the school district.
Okay.
Hold on. You're an independent contractor. You're an independent contractor working 10-hour days, 6 days a week, and you make about $70,000 a year?
Yes.
You need to find another job. You're either not doing very well as an independent contractor, or you are being dramatically underpaid, but you are killing yourself for $70,000. You can go drive a truck for that annual amount of money.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? What do you do? Like the general contractors, if I can get one to call me back right now for work at my house that I'll pay with cash, it's a premium for the privilege of coming out to my house just to look at it. Are you not charging enough?
I work delivery service, so I get paid by what they offer for the delivery.
Okay. Do you like this work?
Yes, and it works with our scheduling of everything that we got going on.
Okay. George is walking you through this. There's only two things you can do with money. You can cut expenses or you can make more of it.
Okay.
And I want you to do both.
Yeah. If this job is taking it takes every last hour of your life and that's what it gets you, it might be working for your family schedule-wise, but it might make paying this debt off take 5 years instead of 3 or 6 years instead of 2. So it might work for you every week. It might not work for you long term. Okay.
Okay.
Now, you said you were 135 in debt, but the numbers aren't quite adding up. Because you said you had 85 in student loans and 2 car loans, but the 2 car loans don't add up to $50K.
And then we have 2 loans we took out, and then which I think we owe about $800 left on it. We have 3 credit cards, and then our medical debt that we have.
How old's the medical debt?
Anywhere from 10 years to just recent.
Okay, you need to call and negotiate that today. But you need to scrape together some money to throw at it. How much is the total medical debt?
Last time I looked, I think we owed like $13,000 total.
Okay, you're going to need to scrape together maybe $4,000 or $5,000 and call them and say, listen, I can pay you $4,000 or $5,000 if you call it good and settle in full and in writing. And beyond that, we're going to pay off the smallest to largest, regardless of interest rates, and start attacking this debt. If that means you need a personal loan because you're underwater on the cars to get out of these and get 2 really cheap beater cars to get you around to speed this up, I'm okay with that. But we've got to start making some drastic decisions if we want to see progress. And that means maybe your wife is going to find a different job because she's getting paid minimum wage working for the school district. Right?
Okay.
You don't seem to like our answers.
No. It's good advice.
It's okay if you don't. You're a grown man. You can do whatever you want to. It just, I don't think you recognize how radical you got to get to pay this $135,000 off.
It's going to take some work, man. Hang on the line. Austin's going to pick up. We're going to gift you FPU and EveryDollar, and I'm going to give you 4 tickets to our Smart Conference event in Dallas, and I want to see you. When we come out during the breaks, I want to see Charlie from Dallas say, dude, I'm all in. This event is part of that journey. My wife is here. My kids are here. We are all in on this thing. So hang on the line. We're going to get you the whole kit and caboodle to get you on this journey, but you've got to want it more than we do, man. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's John Deloney, co-host of The Ramsey Show. Did you know over 18 million people listen to The Ramsey Show every week? A lot of those people listen on one of our 600-plus radio stations across the country. To find a station near you, go to RamseySolutions.com/show.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studios, this is The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Ramsey personality George Campbell, joined today by my colleague and friend, Dr. John Deloney. And we are taking your calls this hour at 888-825-5225. Susan is kicking us off in Des Moines. Susan, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, thanks for taking my call.
Happy to take it. What's going on?
Hey, so I'm watching about the current hurricane that's heading towards Florida, and yeah, I live in Iowa, so we get lots of tornadoes here. And I was thinking, if something wiped out the power in this area, a big natural disaster, and I didn't have access to my emergency fund, how much cash should I have on hand just in case?
Interesting question. How much do you have in your emergency fund right now?
I have over $1,000 right now.
Okay. What baby step are you in? Have you been following the plan?
I've been following the plan, yeah. So I want to say like 2.5 to 3.
So you still have some debt?
I do still have some debt, but I'm down to less than 15% of my overall available.
Okay. How much debt do you have left?
I have about 15,000.
Okay. And then 1,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I mean,
I'm not counting my mortgage in that 15,000.
Sure.
That's
That's your
okay.
consumer debt.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you called the right show at the right time because I have the prepper himself, Dr. John Deloney. This man has enough deep freezers to last a century.
Yeah, I'm more into food and things like that more than I am cash. So, hey, this is actually I grew up in Houston, so very similar. Tornadoes and hurricanes all the time, just kind of a part of life. So I'm going to tell you what I think, and I'm going to tell you what my reality is. Is that cool?
Yeah.
What I think is a small amount of cash that number is going to be relative to people. What I consider a small amount of cash and what Dave Ramsey considers a small amount of cash, very different numbers, right? But what would I need to give me a couple of days if I needed to go stay in a hotel, if I need to leave town and drive a couple hours away and put gas in the car, like very basic. If I need to go get some food and groceries and I didn't have access to A, B, or C. It's balancing this. What could happen with, like, what's probably going to happen, right? And as the son of a homicide detective, I was raised to believe it could all come down at any moment because that was my dad's world. And so that's my natural bent. And I've had to train myself over the years to, it could, but it probably won't, right? It probably won't. So I have no problem if you have $1,000 in emergency fund that you keep $250, $500 at home in cash, just as I can go get a hotel and I can drive somewhere and be somewhere for a couple hours, or I could drive 24 hours and get out of here and go stay with a friend, right? That's what we're looking for. The idea that if the whole banking system goes down, the cash is worth the paper it's printed on, right? So we tend to overdraw. We tend to pretend that the world, after some kind of crazy calamity, that the world would exist as it does. And I have a friend who's a banker, and he's like, dude, if the whole world goes down, you're going to be shooting your neighbor for water and barbecuing dog. Like the world as you know it is over, right? So it's not like my cash is going to help. Here's the other side. I don't say I'm a prepper. I'm just someone who's prepared. How about that?
Sure, that's literally a different verb.
I live in the woods and I have a year's worth of meat on hand right now. So, right, so some would call me George would call me a prepper.
I live in a neighborhood, in a society. It's a little different. It's
exactly,
fine. But there is wisdom in what John said.
But I don't have any cash at my house right now. I don't have $5,000 hidden at home. I've done that before. I don't have that right now. I'm not super concerned about it.
Okay.
There's a spectrum from like a tornado may be coming versus like it's the apocalypse, which I've seen Left Behind. Very scary. Anytime I see a pile of clothes, I'm nervous. I'm like, is this it? Is it happening?
It's gone.
But right. Susan, I think it's wise if you have $1,000 right now in the bank, if you want to take out 500 of that in cash and put it in a fireproof safe, I think there's some wisdom.
If that's going to help you sleep, cool.
Yeah. But I also wouldn't go over.
Yeah.
Once you're out of debt and you have fully funded,
what you guys thought.
Yeah, once you get like $10,000 in the bank, maybe you up it to $1,000 in that safe to having cash just in case. Even beyond a natural disaster, sometimes you just need to have cash on hand. Your bank accounts got locked up for some reason, and so there's wisdom in that.
During the tornado that came through Nashville here, I don't know when the last time you were in like an event where power went out for a couple of days or something like that, but I was stunned at how fast technology has shifted. People were able to buy things. I was able to buy something with my debit card on somebody's cell phone because they had one of those little plug-in things. It went very, very quickly is what I'm saying. So I grew up one time when Hurricane Alicia came through. We had nothing for like 10 days, like nothing. We cooked on a camp stove. It was the whole deal. In some parts of the world that still happens. In some parts of our country that still happens. It's very, very rare.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel better,
good.
Susan?
I do. I just, I've got my dry food and my water and blankets and whatever else. And I was just thinking, wow, I don't have any money. Am I going to need to put some of that aside? So I wanted to know what your thoughts were on it.
In my life, the more cash I have at my house, the more money I spend on stuff that I really don't need. It's a self-control mechanism.
But that's why I like keeping it in the fireproof safe. Not just going to sit in the wallet, John. That's how it disappears. But this is a real, John, regardless of what the reason is, natural disaster or something else, there's a lot of fear. Like, I get messages probably at least once a week of someone going, but I was watching the news, and what if this digital money and currency goes digital, and I saw what if Biden and the IRS is going to start looking at our, and it just spirals out of control.
Right.
And usually they don't say I'm looking at the news. I just say, hey, turn off the news.
Turn it off.
And they go, yeah, you're right.
Turn it off. I've told it on this show, but a buddy of mine who's he's a banking commissioner, and he's just a brilliant mind when it comes to money. I was hammering him one time. Just, what about this and what about this? And I was in one of my anxiety spirals. It's all coming down. And he finally said the magic words that was like a light switch for me. And he looked at me and said, hey, John, I don't have a meteorite plan. And I was like, what's that supposed to mean? He goes, I'm going to put money in retirement. I'm going to put money in this program. I'm going to pay my house off. I don't owe anybody on cars because they're depreciating assets, and it's dumb to borrow money on he's just so straightforward as a banker. And then he goes, and then if I get hit by a meteorite, I'm going to deal with that on that day because I'm just not going to waste my. And I was like, oh, yeah. So if all the monetary system implodes and crashes,
we have bigger issues.
There'll be much bigger
not
issues
having cash
going
on hand.
That's exactly right. That at that point, you know what's going to be your best bet, your best apocalypse bet?
What's that?
Have close relationships with your neighbors. Know your neighbors so that they don't look at you as an enemy. They look at you as somebody to do life with and to get through the next hurdles that y'all are going to have to overcome together. Know your neighbors really, really well. That's your best apocalyptic move.
That's good.
Not having a bunch of cryptocurrency.
They're not going to want that if the apocalypse hits.
The zombies cannot be bought.
My neighbors, Gary and Lon, they're not going to be doing much with Dogecoin.
Nope.
But
they
I can
will
give them
bring
some
over
tomatoes
cups
from
of
the
sugar.
garden. My neighbor gave me some tomatoes from his garden the other day.
Hashtag
it was a lovely
apocalypse. Right
lovely
there.
moment. Now that we can do it. This is The Ramsey Show. You know, it's crazy. The Ramsey Show has been around for 30 years. And to celebrate, we recorded a video panel with all of the Ramsey Show co-hosts in one room to take a look back at some of the unbelievable experiences we've had over the years, especially Dave, who has been there for all 30 of them. So in my favorite episode, we talk about the best and worst calls we've taken, and there have been some doozies. So we laugh at some old audio of Dave's thick southern drawl in those early years. You got to hear that. And we remember some of the most gut-wrenching, inspiring, and even bizarre moments on the show. And producer James produced this panel, and you're going to love it. We brought in the actual calls and audio clips from all of those, and definitely my favorite episode. We also talk about where we see the show going in the next 30 years. You can find all 4 of these special episodes on our YouTube channel, filled with stories from 3 decades of amazing people doing amazing things to change their lives and live like no one else. So go check out The Ramsey Show on YouTube and watch the 30th anniversary panel that dropped last week. Open phones this hour, 888-825-5225. I'm George Campbell, joined today by Dr. John Deloney. And Chad joins us up next in San Antonio. Chad, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Sure. How can we help?
My question today is, I'm not having a disagreement at all with my wife, but I'm just thinking about this and wanted your thoughts on it.
It's quite the disclaimer.
I don't believe you. Go ahead.
No, really. She's wanting to buy a investment property to use it as a rental on the coast.
Why?
I don't have a problem with that. Why? To invest money and get a little bit of it back.
Where'd she hear about this? She saw it like an Instagram video or a TikTok or something.
We actually have a place down there already, a vacation home of our own, and it's a new development that's coming about.
Okay.
And it seems like a pretty good deal. My question to you, or your thoughts, I'm guessing, is they're saying that we could finance with them, whatever, and they would lock us in, but if it won't go higher than 7%. So my question is, I'm not scared of an investment. I'm not scared of putting it in real estate. But do I put more money down? Do I walk away from it completely? I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts there. I'm not out of debt. I do owe money on my home, which I owe roughly $250 on my property, and it's worth north of $1 million. Other than that, I'm debt free.
So no consumer debt, just the mortgage on your personal?
That is correct.
Okay. Well, we would tell you to pay off your primary residence first and then pay for any investment property in cash.
Okay.
And that is super conservative and super not cool in today's culture. Because you know what that means? You're like, that's like 6-10 years from now. Boring.
Correct.
I want the money now. The problem is you're going to be over $500,000 in debt. How much is this new property?
Roughly $400,000.
Do you owe on your other beach house?
No, it's paid for.
Okay.
And how often are you going to this beach house?
Twice a month at least.
Oh, nice. Do you rent it out in between, or is this just for you guys?
Personal use only.
Okay. Well, you got the paid-for rental house. What's that worth? Or the vacation property?
$150,000.
It's worth $150,000. Okay, and you owe $250,000. What's your income?
Combined, this year is going to be probably 3.25.
Way to go. Fantastic income. So the question is, making 3.25, how quickly could we pay off $250,000 and then save up another $400,000?
Gotcha.
So that's $650,000. You guys make $325,000 a year. How much of that can go towards these exciting dreams you have?
Well, I got enough to pay off my home in the bank.
Oh.
And it's one of those scary things. I was listening to the last caller. He talked about doomsday preppers, and my wife's like, well, I'd rather keep it in the bank where we know where it's at.
How much money do you have in the bank?
Roughly $370,000.
Why, Chad?
Dude.
Why? What are you doing, man?
How should I invest it?
You should pay your house off. That
okay.
You have a tax every month. We can just call it your prepper tax, which is the APR on your home.
Mm-hmm.
You are paying every month to not pay your house off. Like in a major event, not owing anybody anything, and being out of work. Let's say COVID hits again, and everybody can't go to work for 70 or 60 days or 120 days or whatever, and the country's broke. It is, and they can't just mail checks anymore. The person who doesn't owe anybody anything is going to be better off than the person who suddenly can't make any payments. Is that fair?
Yes.
So having $370,000 in the bank in your bank while you're paying somebody else interest on money it's just clinically insane. It doesn't make any sense. If you had $25,000 in cash on top of your emergency fund, just as an extra, like, oh man, just in case, I could go with you there. I'm enough of a prepper to get that. Or you had $25,000 under your mattress. Gotcha. I'm with you on that. But dude, just pay your house off, man. Pay your house off, man.
And the idea of having this rental house with a mortgage on it means your profits are going to be real slim, which means you're better off making your $325,000 than you are making $1,000 if you're lucky in profits on this rental house. Making $12,000 a year, right?
Yes.
So walk out this scenario with me. You have $370,000 in the bank. We pay off the house today. Mm-hmm. That leaves you with $120,000. Let's call $20,000 of that your emergency fund. That leaves you with $100,000, right?
Yes.
The rental property you want is $400,000, which means you have a $300,000 gap. You make $325,000. Could you save $300,000 in less than 2 years, making $325,000 with no payments in the world? Say yes.
Yes.
So now we're looking at this with a very different lens. You called in saying, I'm concerned about interest rates. Now we're not concerned about anything.
And by the way, if we have 6 to 7% interest rates, which is what buying a house is right now, and the house costs $400,000, if you show up to that scenario with $375,000 in cash and say, I'll buy it right now, they'll sell it to you. And wealthy people with cash don't care about interest rates because it doesn't apply to them. It applies to people who are having to work through a bank to make their day a little bit brighter. You see how you just opt out of the whole system this way?
Yes.
And that's how the wealthy hang on to their money, because they have cash when other people are having to scramble to, and the market slows down because of interest rates, the wealthy can come in and buy stuff with cash at much cheaper prices, and that's how the wealthy get wealthier.
Alrighty, guys.
So it sounds like you're a year and a half away from getting a rental house.
Chad, did we just make you sad?
No, it doesn't.
Are you going to pay off your house today? Please say yes.
That would be so cool.
For a guy that hasn't paid off his house yet, do it for me, man.
Do it for John.
I'm not going to do anything without talking to her. I know better than that.
That was a trap.
Very good.
You passed the test.
Well played. Pay your house off, man.
This is a different conversation now for Chad. He gets to go to his wife and say, honey, we're going to get that rental house, but it's going to take a little while.
Yes.
Give us 18 months, and that means we're paying off the house today. That frees us up completely. We have $100,000 in the bank still towards this house, and we make $325. We can put away $150 to $200 every year, which means we're going to have this money within the next 18 months.
A lot.
And we're not going to owe anything, which means every single dime that comes in is now profits.
Yes.
After our expenses. And that, to me, man, there's such freedom in that.
I remember, and again, I don't buy into all of the investment strategies, but I remember a conversation with Charlie Munger and Warren Buffett, and they said, what's the number one strategy for invest? Like, what's the number one thing I could do for investing? And I think it was Charlie Munger that said, have $10 million in your checking account, because you never know. And be able to be the first guy at the table with a check and say, I'll buy that right now. And you will get an extraordinary deal from somebody who needs to sell something. You'll give them a gift of getting rid of the thing. You'll get an incredible deal, and you don't have to go to a bank or raise money or whatever. Have $10 million in your checking account. I'm a long way. I've got $10 in my checking account. But this idea that, dude, interest rates don't apply to you if you're paying with cash.
You don't have to worry about what the economy is doing.
You just
opt in and out. You've got a giant pile of money in the bank. That's right. That's a good problem to have. But Chad's done a great job, man. We are cheering you on. Excited for this rental house in the near future. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined today by Dr. John Deloney. Wanted to remind you guys that if you enjoy this show, please consider subscribing, leaving us 5 stars, leaving reviews, and sharing it with your friends. If this show has helped you in any way, we want it to help more people like you. That would be fantastic. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Jenny joins us up next in NYC. Jenny, welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thank you for taking the call.
Absolutely. How can John and I help?
Okay, so we owe $117,000 in debt, mostly consumer debt. 20,000 of those are to the IRS. We are already on payment plans with the IRS. That's the first thing we did when we found out we owed them money. We've made every stupid financial decision possible. We've made them. And
welcome to the club.
I am expecting a child in 2 months. I am currently working remotely. I have one child in school and one with me while I work remotely and we can choose money. I thought we were living within our means. We thought we were doing everything we had to do until I noticed that all of our credit cards were maxing out. And I'm like, how is this possible? No, we can't do that. I did a detailed budget and we had a $1,100 deficit on a monthly basis. And we've been doing that for the past almost year.
That's how you go into $117,000 in debt, for sure.
Yes, and not only that, we purchased a home. We bought the least expensive home that we can purchase in the New York City area, New Jersey area. And once you open one wall that you think, oh, this $5,000 that I have to save up will help us do this one wall. Once you open that one wall, you realize that you just, it was a money pit. and we've spent over $100,000 fixing. So that's where most of our consumer debt comes from. It's us putting stuff on the credit cards to fix the house, because once one thing was fixed, 20 other things were broken. And then we have car issues. We don't have any car payments. Our car's really old and have been paid for. But like I said, everything else, it's a lot of consumer debt. Now, when we saw that, and I've been listening to you guys for the past 3 weeks since we started our budget, I'm angry, I'm mad, I don't know what else to do. And I am every feeling in between to get me started and motivated to just do it. My husband has been able to pick up 12 extra hours and overtime at work. But just to commute to work, it costs us around $1,200 a month between tolls and gas. We are about 2 hours away from where we live, and taking public transportation is going to be a 6-hour commute, 3 going and 3 coming back.
What's he doing for work?
He works at an airport in the other state. So he helps with the audit of the documents that are needed for the FAA.
Hey, Jenny, I'm going to ask you a hard question, okay? And I normally make jokes about this, and I'm not playing, okay? I hear it in your voice, okay? You're a scared mother of young kids with another one on the way, okay? And I hear it in you. There is something, and people can roll their eyes, and I get that, and it's worth rolling your eyes at. But if you're born and raised in Texas and you're born and raised in New York, there's an extra, you can't leave, right? Are you connected to New York?
Yes. And, well, we have our employment who are very flexible with us. That's one of them. Second one of it, we actually moved to the next state closer just because we couldn't afford living in New York anymore.
No, I'm talking about cut ties completely and go to another state where you can keep your income, your state income tax, where you can get some breath in your life. You've created a life for yourself that your bodies cannot exist in. You cannot commute 6 hours a day and be parents and be married and be connected to one another. You just can't. You can't run a deficit of $1,100. $1,200 of that is just in taxes and in tolls and in gas commuting. You see what I'm saying? Like, you've created a life that you can't exist in, and it may be that the Northeast isn't the place for you and your family right now. Is that an option for you? Cut ties with this house. You've lost it. It's fine. Can we go somewhere and start over? Because this isn't working, man. You're drowning.
It is. We are. So we are drowning, and we made it to the point where we are now at a 700 surplus with the overtime that we're going to be doing.
I know, but hon, but that's temporary.
Yeah.
You're working overtime. You're commuting all over the place. Your cars are falling apart, right? You see, there's so much. These are Band-Aids. Am I right? If I'm wrong, tell me. But it sounds like I'm right.
You're right.
The extra 700, throwing at 117,000, it is a never-ending battle at that point. And so we're trying to find any way you can drastically reduce expenses and increase or keep your income. And that might mean making some big sacrifices that you don't want to do right now.
Yeah.
What's your mortgage payment?
$2,400.
What's your take-home pay?
Clean after everything, it's $6,200.
Is a house in sellable condition? Could you sell it and not lose your backside on it right now?
I won't be able to lose after everything we've invested in the house. We'll lose.
Y'all would do okay?
No, we would not.
Oh, you would?
We will lose.
It would be a loss?
Yes.
Could you sell it? Take out what you've invested in it versus what you owe. Could you get out clean?
What's it worth and what's left on the mortgage?
We gave a 20% down. The house is worth what we purchased it at right now, $465.
And what's your mortgage loan?
We give 20% down, so whatever that was, $90-something thousand.
Okay.
That's all that has been paid on the house. We've invested over $120,000 in payment.
So you get your 20% back, but you're still in the hole because of all the 6 figures you invested into it. But that's called sunk cost fallacy.
That's
you may
right.
never get that money back.
Yes.
So that may be the biggest stupid tax you pay in your life. But the problem I'm seeing right now is that 40% of your take-home pay is going towards the mortgage.
Yes.
And that's before the tolls and the gas and the kids. Yeah. And so right now you can't breathe.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't a sustainable lifestyle to begin with, even with the extra $700 coming in.
Okay. So I this is really hard because it's one of those things that we're like we're afraid of the unknown. I don't think we'll be able to make what we make now in another state. And we'll still have $117,000 in debt in another state. And we won't be able to bring home what we're bringing now. And the way the rent is going.
I wouldn't put that out into the world. You work remote, correct? Could you move out of New York?
They're doing me a favor because I am a high-risk pregnancy.
Uh-huh.
But no, I'm required in the office.
What do you make annually?
I make $70,000.
Doing what?
I'm an HR analyst.
You absolutely can make $70,000 outside of New York. And if you make $60,000 in the state of Tennessee, you keep a chunk of that money because there's no state income tax.
Oh, wow.
And you can make $60,000 being a math teacher in the right school district. You see, so here's what I'm saying. I don't want you to limit yourself on fantasy, on imagination, because y'all are in desperate need of data, of facts. And your husband, what does he do at the airport?
He is a coordinator that helps with the aircraft records.
Okay. I travel all over the country. So does George. We've been to a lot of airports. They need a lot of coordination across the country. Okay. And I bet he could coordinate all kinds of different things. Here's what I'm saying. You'll have to get real about the fact that you'll have created a life for yourselves that is not sustainable. You cannot live in the life you've created. Whether that means move, whether that means different jobs, whether that means sell your house. And yes, you're going to eat the $100,000 you put into it. That stinks. But you can get out, even Steven, rent for a couple of years, move to Kansas, move to Texas. I don't care what you do, but I want you to imagine a life where you've got peace and you got to build from there.
Our scripture of the day comes from Deuteronomy 31:6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them. For the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Switching gears, Jackie Chan once said, wow, what a pivot that was. He said, don't wait for the change of circumstances. You change the circumstances. That's a good one.
In other news,
that was just didn't expect it. Austin, well done.
George is the king of the transition.
A lot of wisdom in both of those quotes. Timeless and modern. There we go. All right, open phones at 888-825-5225. Will's up next in Columbia, South Carolina. Will, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. That was a hard left turn.
I agreed.
It's hard to follow the wisdom of Jackie Chan. We will do our best. What's up?
What's up with you?
Yeah, I mean, I was calling, been a long time listener. I mean, I have kind of a unique thing. So I had a great job. Bought a couple cars in cash. Don't have any debt other than the house. Change jobs. Income's going down a little bit. Will go up significantly over time. But I just have been really frustrated by the amount of money that we've spent on the two cars that are in our driveway. I think just generally by the amount of money we were spending, even though we weren't going into debt, we were saving. Just felt like we could have done a lot better job with the income that we've had the last several years. So yeah, I'm just trying to get some general advice on the cars specifically, and thoughts there on what to do.
Sell them.
But just kind of in general.
How many do you have?
We've got two.
You only need
nice
one?
SUV for. No, we need two.
Sell them.
So selling them, you're going to have to go buy two more cars then, right?
Right.
So
Yeah,
does this solve your
what I'm trying to get
problem?
at. Like, I want to know, what's your gut reaction when I say sell them? Like, is your thought?
I know I need to sell. I know I need to sell one for sure. Right. Like we've got, probably $80,000 worth of car sitting in the driveway.
What kind of car is this?
Between the two, it's two cars. Between the two cars.
What are the two cars?
Like a Volvo SUV, and then an Audi that I made in a purchase several months ago after a car accident that I'm hoping to get rid of today.
So they're worth 80 combined.
Yeah.
What's your household income this year? What do you think it's going to be?
So it'll be, we're dropping from about 400 to 200.
Well, that's still a heck of an income. So parameter-wise, ratio-wise, you're still okay. You got two paid-for cars. Are you just wanting to pay off the house and you want to expedite this? What's giving you pause in the cars?
This is deeper. You feel shame over this. How did you violate your own conscience here?
Yeah.
What makes you think this was an unwise purchase based on your income and where you guys are at financially?
I don't know, man. I just I look at it and just have the sense that we could have saved a lot more than we did, or could be in a better position than we are. Not that we're in a bad spot at all.
So what's a better position in your mind?
Bigger number in the bank, probably.
Do you have a fully funded emergency fund?
Yeah.
And you're investing 15% into retirement?
Yeah.
And you feel like you're on track? How old are you guys?
27.
And how much do you have in retirement?
Probably about 200,000.
You're going to have like $5 or $10 million at retirement. So when you're saying I could be doing better, where is that coming from? I don't know how you define better.
Hey, let me see if I can get at this. The other day, my 6-year-old daughter was outside and she was painting a picture. I went to like Michael's and got a bunch of these little miniature canvases and she was painting. And she was listening to her music and being demonstrative. I don't know where she gets that from, but she was waving her arms around and painting. And my wife said, "Hey, you're going to knock over the cup." And she kept moving around, and then she knocked it over. Fell down. And I watched her for a minute, and she just froze and sat there. And the water ended up moving all over everything. And finally I said, "Hey, you've knocked over the water. You can't put it back in the cup. You can choose to get up and go get some towels so that it doesn't cause any more problems." And then she got up and ran to go get some towels. It was almost like like snapping your fingers to get somebody out of there. They got stuck. And you're wasting a lot of energy and time, and you're just beating yourself up. I don't know why. But the question isn't we could have, we should have. Cool. Maybe you could have. But right now, it's happened. And the only thing you can do is sell the cars or make peace with the cars in your driveway. As George said, financially you're fine. If they're haunting you, then sell them, man, and then go about your day. But sitting in, we should have, we could have, you're just choosing to poison today with decisions you made yesterday. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I want to see, let me say this. This is not a situation that you can think your way out of. You're just going to have to go do. Is that fair?
Yeah, man.
So, Will, what's left on the mortgage?
Up 350. We probably got 250 in equity in it.
Awesome. So, even making $200K, you said your income dropped. How quickly do you think you'll pay off this mortgage? 3 years?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've had a longer road. I think it's just trying to adjust. One to just change and do things faster, man. I think we've gotten caught up in just like lifestyle stuff.
You're 27 and you sound 60. You're doing so great. Knock on any 27-year-old's door and they'll be like, "You have what? You don't have any debt?" There's people who are 45 still paying off their student loans.
And here's what we'll call it. We're going to call it your, like, I don't like this is what Dave calls it, but it applies here. It's your stupid tax. Congratulations. You made a ton of money at 24, 25, 26. Way to go. You're changing gears at 27. Awesome. You've learned, hey, moving forward as we build up our business back up and our income goes from 200 back to 400 and then on to 800, we're going to spend our money differently. We're just not Audi people. We're Toyota 400 people, and we're great with that. And we're going to pay our house. You see what I'm saying? It's just about saying, we recognize that was dumb. We're going to do different next time. Can you do that?
Yeah, no, it's super helpful. Yeah, man. No, I appreciate the help. That's why we made the call. So I have to listen to this stuff, the general principles on YouTube for a long time. Like, it probably need a kick in the butt. I can get it in person, great.
You're a guy who has very high standards for himself, I'm guessing. You are super driven to be doing what you're doing, making what you're making at your age. And I think it can be easy for guys like you to beat themselves up at every single corner instead of just being grateful and being free with the contentment of, man, we are so blessed. We got a pile of money in the bank. We don't owe anyone anything. We drive amazing, beautiful cars.
And remember that time we did something stupid.
And we have done some stupid things along the way.
And we're just not going to do them again. Hey, do me a favor, Will. Stop talking so bad to Will. Would you commit to that?
Yeah.
Because you talk to Will in a way that if you heard somebody talking that way to a waitress in a restaurant, you'd get up and knock their teeth out of their head, wouldn't you?
Some close to it, yeah.
Yeah. You don't suck. You're not a loser. You're not an idiot. You haven't bankrupted your family. You're not a terrible husband. You're not all these things that you say to yourself on a regular basis. I'm so stupid. This is so dumb. I can't believe it. Stop. Treat Will with dignity and respect because Will deserves it. Will's doing a good job. Cool?
Yeah, man. No,
Deal?
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for calling, brother.
Appreciate it. Good stuff from Will.
George, I've been down that rabbit hole, man. I make a mistake, do something dumb, and I just get paralyzed because I just beat myself up, man.
Could have done better, John.
Could have done better.
This is Classic John.
Classic John. Way to go, Deloney. That's the one. Idiot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at some point, you got to make peace with yourself and then go.
Well, if you look in the rearview mirror long enough, you get a crick in your neck.
All right. Go.
So let's look in the windshield. It's a lot bigger for a reason.
Go.
Your future's bright, Will. We're proud of you, man. Way to go. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to Dr. John Deloney, all the folks in the booth, and you, America. Until next time, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously. Do you love a good Dave Rant? Want to see the latest Ramsey Show videos going viral? Check out your favorite moments from The Ramsey Show on YouTube. Go watch and subscribe to The Ramsey Show channel on YouTube.